What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of The Other Side of the Firewall, where we talk about the latest and greatest in cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon
What's up? What's up?
and LeVon Maynard.
What up?
What is going on? So, action-packed week. We're back to the old format, so you can catch us Monday through Friday. We do 4 episodes, and then I'm going to try to get a 5th Ask a CSP in there. No guarantees, but I'm going to try. So, it's the thought that counts, people. So I always put this at the end, but I'm going to start sticking it in the beginning too. So please like, share, subscribe with your friends. Get us out there and ask us some questions. We love to answer your questions. Not live on air because we're not live, but definitely put you out there and say, hey, this person asked us this. And we would love to, just be more involved in the community. So with that being said, I'll give you our first news topic of the week.
Roger that. Looks like we have an article here from SiliconANGLE. This is by Duncan Riley. It's $50 million payment, a $50 million payment demanded from Accenture in ransomware attack. So we know ransomware has been on the up. It's been on the rise in the last couple of years here, more so than it has been in the past. But this article is basically describing how this organization, I think they call themselves the Lockbit 2.0 ransomware gang. They're kind of doing the same thing as some of the other gangs we talked about before, doing like the ransomware as a service, kind of offering people the option to use their software to pretty much hack or pretty much like encrypt this company's data. So it looks like it happened to Accenture. It looks like they locked some of their data. It looked like it was about I think it was 6 terabytes worth of data that was encrypted or stolen at the very least. The article goes into describing that there's kind of like a 2-prong attack that a lot of these ransomware gangs have been going through, where they like to encrypt the data as well as steal it. So they kind of have like a angle to like attack as far as if they decide they want to first of all, they demand some money to get the ransomware key or the encryption key, as well as they're threatened to release data to the public. So if you have some sensitive data that you don't want out there, they're going to kind of use that as a means of leverage to try to get some money out of you. But in this article, it pretty much describes that situation. At the moment, it looks like Accenture hasn't given up any money. They actually had a backup plan in place, or they had their data backed up so that they were able to identify where the ransomware had been installed or affected, what systems it affected, and they were able to pretty much lock those systems down and restore the data that was compromised. So they were pretty much up and running within a short period of time. So they weren't too concerned about that. At the time, at this moment, it seems like the ransomware gang Lockbit was kind of demanding the money, saying that they're going to release this data. They even put some sort of timer on some sort of on the dark web, some website that they manage, showing that you got this amount of time before we're going to release all your data. But it looks like at the moment, Accenture is not really caving to their demands, which is it seems like a good thing at the moment. But to kind of circle back a little bit, just that it's pretty impressive, or it's good to see that this company not only is not falling into the demands, but they had some sort of mechanism in place to kind of back up their data and restore it within a short period of time, unlike some other companies we've seen in the past. But with that said, do you guys have some thoughts on it? How about you, Ryan? What you think?
It's the same song and dance. But what surprised me is the amount of data they had. So only speculating because we're not there and whatnot, but they had to have been in their systems for a while, right? They get 6 terabytes of data before they eventually encrypted it. So I like the fact that they were able to come back up so quick. So obviously they had a pretty good business continuity plan, so that way they wouldn't be down for too long. Obviously, it sucks that you got people, threatening you for what is it, $50 million. So don't pay that. It seems like they don't even have to because they came up so quick. But it's I forget what they call it, but it's like the dwell time is too high. Like obviously they were in their systems for a long time, so it's just we have to get better at threat hunting in our forensics because that's a lot of data. So that's really my only comments with it. Like I think they did a good job. Like they bounced back pretty quick. They seem to not be caving in because that counter is still up there. We'll see next week. Like they be like, yeah, they paid them, they paid
Right.
them all the ransom. Um, I would say, you know, it sucks that they were breached in general, but it seems to be the norm, right? Like hackers are getting a little bit better than we are at getting to defending data. Right now, we're just working on how quickly we can find them and how quickly we can bounce back. So they got 2 out of 3. What about you, Shannon?
So I actually looked into this. There was an updated article on this that came out yesterday, actually, and Accenture said that they weren't really there was no real big issues from it. They claim no impact, right? I mean, there's some impact, but they claim no impact, and it's because of what you were talking about is that their backup procedures and what they had to do. This is a company, so I looked into this company a little bit too, right? And I don't know if you guys ever watched 30 Rock, but they had an episode where Steve Martin was the CEO of this company that it was one of those companies that like had the commercials that don't really say anything. You know what I mean? Like it's like he was actually he was actually under house arrest for like fraud or something like that, and nobody really knew it. And he was like, my company doesn't say anything. When I went to look up Accenture, like it's one of these companies that, you know, was based out of the Bahamas, you know what I mean?
Mm,
And then they're based out of Ireland, you know, so they don't have to pay any
right.
taxes and stuff like that. But
Right.
they report revenue of like 44 billion, I think is what it was that they
Damn.
said reported. Yeah, it was something they get a lot of money. I mean, they're an IT consulting firm as well, right? But I want to say it was let's see, revenue in billions. Last time it was reported 2019, yeah, $43.2 billion. So 50 million, like they knew who to hit. But it made me curious, right? So because they're one of these companies that operates, you know, mostly not really operates overseas because they have employees everywhere. They have over 500,000 employees, but they got a lot of them in India and Ireland and all these other places that are not really America, right? Just trying to avoid the taxes. But
Right.
it made me think if that's what made them a target, right? Like if these ransomware gangs are out here looking at these big companies that they think are kind of getting over and they're saying, okay, that's who I want to go after. You know what I mean? It was a new angle to look at for this as I was looking into the company. But like you were saying, Ryan, though, same stuff, different day, right? Like this is what it is. This is what we got now. And like you were saying, LeVon, we've seen an uptick in this in the last couple of years, right? Especially the last 18 months, you know, since COVID has been prevalent, you know. Idle hands, we've said it before, right? Idle hands do the work of the devil.
Right. Right.
But yeah, no, they Accenture says there's no impact to it, so more than likely they didn't pay, you know, the 50 million. They just said, all right, we're gonna go about our business, right? They acknowledged the attack, right? But they said, let's see. Through our security controls and protocols, we identified irregular activity in one of our environments. We immediately contained the matter and isolated the affected servers, the company said in a statement. So yeah, no impact to their operations or their clients' operations. So they were like, you know what? We're not gonna pay you anything. We do what we need to do, keep it moving. And then it's like the 15 minutes of fame, right? Like hopefully people forget about it, right? Because I always talk about the public trust. This is one of those times too, right? Where you see this and people may say, oh, well, now I can't trust them, but they're like, there was no impact. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Nothing to worry about. We took care of business. So yeah,
Right.
that's kind of where they are and what they're doing. But I'm going to start keeping tabs on this as we start seeing these big ransomware requests go out there. I'm going to start looking at these companies a little bit more. Be like, there's another one in the Bahamas. There's another one in the Bahamas. You know what I mean? See if that's who they're going after and if they're targeting these people. So they're trying to pretend like they're Robin Hood, right?
Right. Right.
Maybe the Bitcoin ransom is going to go somewhere to charity or something. I don't know, but yeah, that was my takeaway from it, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was going to touch on that as well, that you guys mentioned the, well, maybe one of the takeaways as well, which kind of leads into our next topic, but it'll be on, you know, another episode, but it looks like there was some potential clues that it might've been like an inside job, but it's like, it's not really certain at the moment, but I wouldn't be surprised. I feel like a lot of these ransomware attacks, they have to happen, I think the probably two most prevalent ways is probably like through like an email or through like some sort of insider thing where somebody's like, okay, I'm just gonna go ahead and like, deploy this, or somebody's gonna pay me on the side to deploy this to this big, big company, whether it's like Tesla, whether it's Accenture, whether it's some Microsoft, Amazon, or something like that. If they're gonna give me like, $10 million to deploy the software because they're gonna get like 100 million out of it or something, then they might be kind of insinuated. They might have just the drive to be able to deploy that and just be able to get some quick money before everything collapses on them. But
you want to know my thinking behind that though, LeVon?
Yeah.
I agree with you, but I don't know if now is the time to do it because there is such a big spotlight on cyber. What do you want to call them? Cyber intrusions and things of that nature, right? Like if you wanted to do this, 4 or 5 years ago, they probably wouldn't have thought much of it, right? Like I don't know. I'm not gonna say it wasn't a big deal, but the way it's been in the news cycle now, like you better believe people are gonna come down on your head now. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's
True. That's true. Yeah, it'd be it's foolish to even consider doing something like that. But some people out there, they're like, I don't know, they're hard up for some money, or they don't, they're in a bad spot. They're like, oh man, I need some money, or they're foreclosing my house or something like that, or like whatever situation that's driving them. But obviously, like you said, I mean, it's a poor decision. These aren't the smartest people, but nonetheless, it's I just think that just like not knowing a lot about some of these companies. I know Accenture is obviously a pretty big company. They're big into IT, so I assume that they have some proper protocols to protect their infrastructure, and they have like firewalls and all this kind of stuff to kind of like prevent somebody from just walking, just from their remote computer, just like, oh, let me just go inside here real quick and let me just drop this in there, the server farm, that kind of thing. But I'm sure it can happen. But I just feel like a lot of these, I feel like are more like inside, or somehow they send an email, somebody clicks on the email, then it goes to a website and they download some file, and then all of a sudden the files get installed in the machine. The machine gets connects to that remote server and starts uploading stuff or downloading stuff, and it kind of spreads from there. I feel like that's probably a lot, where a lot of these come from. But it could be those hackers out there, just like Russia and China, that just have like sophisticated hacking techniques, and just, they figure out what kind of firewall you're using and find some sort of like vulnerability in the firewall and go through a hole there and get inside the network. But yeah, it's just my thoughts as far as like I feel like a lot of these do happen from maybe mistakes or just people kind of like maybe being compromised. But who knows? Well, I guess we'll figure out maybe something happened in the future where they're kind of, I wish they would be a little bit more open about letting us know how these happen. I think a lot of these companies try to stay hush about how they got compromised, especially if it's somebody's job's on the line. So
right. More phishing attacks than reconnaissance and pen testing.
Right.
Most likely, yeah.
That's just my thoughts, and I have nothing really to base it off of. Just my kind of general, especially companies like this that are pretty. You would think they have like one of the best kind of security mechanisms in place that deal with like IT consultant and all things like that. So, but who knows?
Right. And then I guess not to, because I do agree with Shannon, but I guess to play devil's advocate, maybe they are striking because they know that their reckoning is coming. You know what I mean? Like all this money's flooding in, all these people are jumping on to cyber defense. They're like, hey, we gotta get this money before it gets hard out here to make these things happen. So I don't know. Since I'm not a criminal, I can't really decide. But that could be one of the reasons why it's the uptick as well. Like, hey, we got to strike while the iron's hot. Because how much was it? It's like $10 billion is starting to hit the market. So gotta get out there. But definitely a good discussion. And then, like you said, like you alluded to, please stay tuned to the next episode where we dig a little bit more deeper into those insider threats and what have you. Please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Gotta make sure I put it out there. Hit that button, ring the bells, all that good stuff. Hit us up on the socials at www.theothersideofthefirewall.com. And then you can hit us up personally. I am at RY Security Guy. That's RY Security Guy on TikTok, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Clubhouse. There you go. So hit all them up. I gotta write this down one day just so I could just ramble it off. And LeVon, where can we find you at?
You can hit me up on the Twitters at LeVon Maynard.
There it is. So stay tuned. Hit us up all week. Like I said, we'll have 4 episodes this week. Stay safe, stay secure.
Take care.